fear versus fact. No pauses and no fluff. Everybody got an opinion though. Leave a comment. We can discuss. If you feeling the vibe, you already know. Like and subscribe. Let's go.
And in the coming days, we are going to make public remaining records relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, his brother Robert Kennedy, as well as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and other topics of great public interest. It's all going to be released, Uncle Sam.
President Trump does not place his hand on the Bible when being sworn in.
Complaining that Trump did not put his hand on the Bible at the inauguration when he was sworn in. I like to say in his defense, most of you haven't put your hand on the Bible in years.
As of today, TikTok is back. We went on TikTok, and Republicans have never won the young vote, the youth vote. They win a lot of votes, but they never won the youth vote. We won the youth vote by 36 points. So I like TikTok. So I said, I'll approve, but let the United States of America own 50% of TikTok. I'm approving on behalf of the United States. So they'll have a partner, the United States, and they'll have a lot of bidders, and the United States will do what we call a joint venture. And there's no risk. We're not putting up any money. All we're doing is giving them the approval, without which they don't have anything. So I don't know. It sounds like that works. What do you think? Good? I think so. So whether you like TikTok or not, we're going to make a lot of money.
TikTok shutting down looks like a big stunt at this point, doesn't it? But now, because of Donald Trump, they're saying, thank you, Mr. President-elect. You have now saved TikTok. But need we forget that Donald Trump was the one who tried to ban this app several times. All of this started with Donald Trump. He got everybody into a tizzy because this app pissed him off, and he got into a huge tizzy about it and decided to make it a priority to get this app banned. So because he comes in and supposedly saves TikTok now, it was all his undoing. It's like I make a huge mess, I tear up my entire house, everybody's like, oh my gosh, and then I fix everything in it, and they're like, wow, you did such a great job. It's like, you're the one who destroyed it. You're the one who started it, Donald Trump.
I know that everyone's happy that TikTok's back, but just be careful coming back on here or re-downloading the app. It is not the same app. You are no longer allowed to talk about anymore. Your video will get taken down immediately.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came. We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy. I will end the practice of catch and release. And I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country.
If you go after a immigrant who has a criminal record, you find him at home, his wife is there. She does not have a criminal record. Does she get arrested?
Is she illegal in the United States?
If she is. If she's undocumented, does she get arrested too?
Yes. She'll be processed, and we'll let the immigration judge decide what happens to her.
You're talking around Inauguration Day, even on Inauguration Day?
I'm not going to forecast what we're doing and where we're doing it, but you can count on worksite enforcement coming back.
Will mass deportation hurt the economy?
I think mass deportation and results of mass deportation are more important to this country than anything.
Mass deportations are set to begin today. Chicago, San Antonio, and there's 6 other cities that I'll list here that are going to be affected. The Trump administration is focusing on these cities because they're blue cities that are havens for immigrants. So you're not an immigrant, but you want to help. What do? If you see ICE vehicles, shout La Migra. La migra. That will give people a heads up. And if you're able to, I want you to record everything that's happening. We need to have evidence of how they're treating these immigrants so then they don't gaslight us and saying, oh, we treated them humanely. And if you're the immigrant and they come into your workplace because they're basically targeting businesses at this point, you have some rights. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to ask for an attorney, so do that. Do not get aggressive. Just be calm and state your rights, because if they feel that you're getting aggressive, they can detain you and immediately deport you. I reposted a lot of videos on this topic, and I will be doing that all day so you have more resources. And to all my Latinos, ten cuidado y que Dios te bendiga.
Hey, good morning, Miss Johnson. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. Woke up with a smile on my face. I was watching the news and I seen that it was Mass Deportation Day, and I was wondering, what's the reward for turning in any Venezuelan today?
We don't have any information in regards to that.
There's no number that I can call so we can help deport the Venezuelans.
I can get you over to dispatch, and they may have updated information. Right now, we don't have any information that there's a reward.
No rewards? I thought I seen 7,000.
No, we don't have that information indicating that.
Oh, okay. Well, can you give me over to dispatch then?
Not a problem.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
How you doing, sir? How you doing? Good morning. I heard it was Mass Deportation Day, and I was wondering, what's the number and the reward for turning in any Venezuelans today?
Let me get you over to city services. Hold on a second.
All right.
Some migrants are already choosing to leave the country voluntarily. News Nation's Jorge Ventura joins us live from San Antonio, Texas this morning with more on this story. Jorge, how many migrants are we actually seeing doing this, leaving voluntarily?
Right now, Marky, it's unclear, but we are starting to see a trend, and this comes as cities across the U.S. and Mexico are now bracing for President-elect's deportation operation. But his hardline messaging on those deportation efforts have some migrants panicking and some even choosing now to self-deport back to their home countries. I spoke with immigration attorney Rolando Vasquez, who tells me that some of the immigrants that he represents that entered under the Biden administration are now choosing to return home, fearing deportation under the incoming administration.
Just as recent as yesterday, they notified me that they're going to depart the country voluntarily, and understanding that, the Trump administration is going to carry through on their promises.
And it's not just Trump's deportation plans that are influenced these decisions. Vasquez says it's also that Mexico is now open to accepting non-Mexican deportees.
Next order relates to the definition of birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment of the United States.
That's a good one. Birthright. That's a big one.
What about that one in the court? That one is likely to be passed.
Could be. I think we have good grounds, but you could be right. I mean, you'll find out.
Feels like. Yeah! And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
We know what that was. We know what that was, and don't let anyone tell you any differently. It was not AI. It was not a Roman salute. Call it for what it is. This administration is getting real fucking bold. And the worst part is a lot of these little Yahtzee boys are going to feel comfortable enough doing that kind of shit in public. Make sure they're not comfortable.
Trump passes insane new child support law. Patriots, if you don't know about this, Trump passed a new law that whoever is paying the child support will get to declare those children on their taxes, okay? So say you're a single father, single mother, and you are not the one paying the child support. You will not get the tax return for your child. How do you guys feel about that? This is all allegedly, I guess. We got to see till everything goes through. But this is the talk on the town that Trump is talking about making. And you know what this means, guys. Single mothers, I'm talking to you out there. This one is going to be directed at you.
Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich other countries, we will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens. For this purpose, we are establishing the External Revenue Service to collect all tariffs, duties, and revenues. It will be massive amounts of money pouring into our treasury, coming from foreign sources. The American dream will soon be back and thriving like never before.
We will respond. We take this threat very, very seriously. And our number one priority is ensuring that we are prepared as a province for these tariffs, that we are responding in a way that protects families and ensures that we minimize the risk of any future attack like this from the United States.
BC would experience an economic slowdown. Over the long term, this represents a cumulative loss of around $69 billion. It is estimated that there would be around 124,000 fewer jobs.
That is why today I will also declare a national energy emergency. We will drill, baby, drill.
This guy's joking. Drill, baby, drill. But, that's a serious Republican and Trump talking point. Well, it's not serious, but they think they're serious. And here's a fact that no one seems to ever mention. We already drill, baby, drill. We are producing, America's producing more oil right now than any country has ever produced in human history. That's a fact. And one of Donald Trump's big talking points is that he's going to lower the cost of everything by producing more oil, even more oil than ever before, which is just a ridiculous idea. Here's why. First, let's back up a bit. I taught geophysics at Duke University for many years. The plurality of my graduate students, their first job was with Exxon. I fracked wells. Back when fracking wasn't cool. I don't know if it's cool now, but back then, no one even knew what fracking was. And because of research, government-sponsored DOE and academic research, Republicans are always criticizing, we're wasting money on research. We figured out how to get oil out of the ground by fracking, which is why America produces more oil than any other nation right now. But getting back to the idea that we're going to drill, baby, drill, to lower the cost of everything, including oil, that's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen because it costs $60 to $70 a barrel to make money, if you're a big oil company, out of drilling a new well. What's the price of oil right now? About $70 a barrel. That's not a coincidence. And since the end of the pandemic, oil companies have been gradually increasing their oil production. Gradually. Why? Because they lost their shirt during the pandemic. They don't want to lose their shirt during another recession, which is inevitable. They are being cautious and will continue to be cautious no matter what Trump says because they don't want to lose their shirts. And in this mythical world of Donald Trump where oil companies pump so much that they actually lower the cost of oil, well then they'd be selling it for less than it cost them to produce it. You know what that's called? Bankruptcy. So why is Trump selling this nonsensical idea? Because he knows his audience is lowly educated, ignorant, and will believe anything he says. Donald Trump is running the biggest con anyone has ever seen before. He's telling the working class he's on their side. He's not going to do a damn thing for the working class. And he's running an economy built to help his billionaire buddies.
You think Trump's going to deliver on all his promises?
with his ego, I'm sure he will try.
Everything he's been through, I think he's definitely just going to go hard on everything.
Any progress is better than no progress.
He survived gunshot.
I love this country so much, and I love President Trump.
It's been a rough 4 years, so we're ready for change, and I'm here to see it.
I'm not actively rooting against him. Like, I hope I'm wrong and he's right, and that he, lowers prices, does everything he wants. I enjoyed the speech.
I'm hopeful. I feel like, at least witnessing what's happening in my circles, people are willing to listen, people are willing to have those conversations more so than in the past. It's not so much like, that. It's like, let's talk, let's listen, let's try and figure out something that sucks a little bit less than what we're dealing with.
The Reverend there, she had some comments clearly directed to the president about his policies while he was sitting in the pew. Let me play one on immigration. I want to see what you think of something like this. Here it is.
The people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation. But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals.
Well, the Bible's the Bible, right? So when we draw out of the scriptures, that should influence our political beliefs. What she's doing is she's taking a political belief and she's superimposing it on the scriptures. There's a difference. When I read the text of scripture in its context, that should inform my political views. The Bible says the law is for the lawless. You don't have to be afraid of anybody doing anything if you keep the law.
It could be interpreted differently by two people, or no, you believe there's only one. You would have a more strict view of it. You think there's one interpretation. That's the difference, it seems like.
There's a difference between interpretation and application. Interpretation is clear. She's just choosing to apply it in a way that's not biblical, that doesn't line up with scripture.
Did Donald Trump just admit that him and Elon stole the election? Did I just hear that?
Journey to Pennsylvania, where he spent like a month and a half campaigning for me in Pennsylvania, and he's a popular guy. And he was very effective. And he knows those computers better than anybody, all those computers, those vote counting computers. And we ended up winning Pennsylvania like in a landslide. So it was pretty good. It was pretty good. So thank you to Elon.
Yeah, I think he just admitted to election fraud. What are we gonna do about this? I don't give a shit if he saved TikTok. This dude just committed another crime. Another one on top of his 7,000 that he already did. What are we going to do about this? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. He's about to be president in the next 24 hours, and we can just sweep all of this shit under the rug. Like it never happened. Speed that the United States is going towards fascism is unbelievable. This TikTok ban isn't just annoying, it's absolutely horrifying.
Yes, sir. First, we have a list of pardons and commutations relating to events that occurred on January 6, 2021.
Okay, and how many people is this?
I think this order will apply to approximately 1,500 people, sir.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
Yes.
Full pardon.
Full pardon or commutation?
Full pardon. We have about 6 commutations in there where we're doing further research. Nice to see you again. So this is a big one. Anything you want to explain about this? We hope they get them. We hope they come out tonight, frankly. They're expecting it.
This is something that we've not seen in the United States, right? This is something where you've got a law and order supposed party championing people who are in prison for beating police officers with baseball bats. I mean, we haven't seen this. But I do think if you widen the aperture, we have absolutely seen this over and over and over and over again in all modern countries where authoritarians take over. One of the things they first do for the last 100 years, anytime you have an authoritarian take over a democracy, is that they find people who have committed political violence on their behalf, and they free them and vindicate them and make them heroes and effectively spread the word that if you commit violence on behalf of the leader, you're above the law and you won't be held accountable for it. It's a way to terrorize the rest of the population so that unaccountable violent forces might turn up at your doorstep if you oppose this president.
Eyes up Zuckerberg.
Donald Trump's inauguration as the 47th President of the United States may be a star-studded affair, but Mark Zuckerberg was seemingly unable to tear his eyes away from Jeff Bezos' fiancée, Lauren Sanchez's chest. But Lauren Sanchez was also slammed for her obscene choice of outfit with lingerie under her blazer. Big tech titans and other notable figures sat together during the inauguration speech. Google CEO Sundar Pichai, TikTok CEO Xiaozi Chu, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, and media mogul Rupert Murdoch, just to name a few. Looks like Donald Trump wasn't the only person viewers were paying attention to.
For those of you who don't know 17 or who question 17, let me show you exactly what full control looks like.
And as of today, TikTok is back.
At what time did Trump take the stage during today's rally? Exactly at 5:17, which is 17:17 military time. And at what time did Trump end his speech? Exactly at 6:17 p.m. And just how long was TikTok down for? Exactly 17 hours. How many U.S. employees does TikTok have? Exactly 17,000. And how many U.S. users does TikTok have?
170 million Americans who use our platform every day.
Exactly 170 million. How many more coincidences before it becomes mathematically impossible? And like TikTok CEO, enjoy the show.
One question, fib versus fact. Leave it in the comments. If you like the content, subscribe, and I see you when you come back. Peace.